Something else that we could talk about that should have some ramifications for both AEW and Ring of Honor is this new WWE ID program that they announced a couple weeks ago. Now, this weekend, they started throwing out some names that are part of this, including Zeta Steel from MLW, Bryce Donovan from Beyond Wrestling, Cappuccino Jones, which everybody's just loving his name all of a sudden, Jack Cartwheel, or Jack Summit, as they're calling him. Not sure what's going on with that. Zara Zacher from Millennium Pro Wrestling, Sean Legacy, Sam Holloway, and Marcus Mathers from GCW. So rather interesting here, because when they first announced this, they announced like the 5 schools that they were working with, but none of these names are from that school. These are names that wrestle regularly in the indies, and a lot of these names wrestle regularly in Ring of Honor and AEW, as recently as Jack Cartwheel just appearing on both Ring of Honor and AEW last month. So it should be interesting what's going to be happening here, but I guess this way we're going to find out exactly how these rules and regulations are going to work. Even tonight, Nick Wayne is going one-on-one with Jack Cartwheel, so that's an AEW talent against a WWE ID talent. So we shall see who wins, what happens, and what's going on. But yeah, some interesting developments here. These are not names that I expected when they first announced this program. I thought they were going to like start picking out actual students from these schools, but it looks like no, they're going out and actually announcing like well-established indie wrestlers. And a lot of these are pretty young talents as well.
Yeah, I think that the good thing is in the short term, this means that more indie wrestlers can get bigger paydays. They can get a higher profile, and that's very good. And I understand the excitement over that. I do think that it's worth considering what the long-term plan is here. And the long-term plan, WWE doesn't need to make a huge effort to sign indie wrestlers. I mean, they can be super picky about who they bring in because they have their performance center. They can build up their own talent. They can create talent from like any athlete that they want, and they have. Like Tiffany Stratton would be a great example of that, like someone who no wrestling background whatsoever. They built into a very like a hot property. So they don't need to be running around sort of getting a lock on all of these indie talents. And arguably, it's not even something they want to do because they have a specific style that they want to train people in, and they get people in that style by putting them through their own performance center. What this does do is give them a lot of control over how these people work in the indies. Now, officially, everyone's free to accept bookings wherever they want, including AEW and ROH. Will there be pressure not to perform there, like unofficially? Maybe, maybe not. But also, if you're AEW, it then becomes a question of, do you want to bring these talents onto your shows and build them up for WWE, knowing that that's their ultimate, that is where they're headed ultimately. And that, or I should say, is that something you want to do again? Because they've already had it happen a few times. Like Stephanie Vaquer is she's the most recent example, the highest profile example. So I do think that whether it is written into these contracts or not, there will be a splitting off of these people. Like there isn't the WWE could apply some pressure to them not to work with AEW talents or with AEW programming. AEW also might not want to touch people if the idea is that they're building them up to go to their competitor. The other thing, though, is that, as I was saying, WWE has a performance center. They don't need a healthy indie ecosystem. AEW absolutely does, because they don't have the facility to train their own wrestlers, which means they need to be able to draw new talent from the indies. And this is effectively blocking their access to a lot of people, because again, even if technically they're allowed to work there, how is it going to function in reality? So I'm making this sound sort of diabolical, and it isn't. This is how businesses work. They try, every business wants to be a monopoly. AEW has never been in a position to do that. WWE very much is, and they have been a virtual monopoly. They already effectively control the third largest company in TNA, because there's no way TNA, with the arrangement that they have in place that has been so successful for them in terms of live attendance, they can't do anything to jeopardize that relationship right now. So there is that sense that WWE is consolidating where they can and sort of blocking off options from their main, almost at this point, their only competitor. And yeah, so short term, I was looking at downers as I like, yeah, this is a good thing for individual wrestlers. Long term, we're living in a late stage capitalist hellscape, and nothing will ever be better than it is at this exact moment. So we shall see. Lots of things can happen in the interim. Short term, very good for wrestlers, which I think you have to be happy about as a fan. Long term, we shall see.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. Like, obviously, it sounds good on paper. This is great for the talent, like a Zeta Steel, someone who's just started wrestling like 2 years ago, 21 years old. It gives her a spotlight. Obviously, they're going to get more bookings this way. And yeah, I mean, they say that they can work wherever they want. Maybe that's true, but I'm on the same page as you. Like, if I was a Tony Khan, why am I like using these people if like I don't, like Jack Hartwheel, like he was like even on a Ring of Honor like pay per appearance deal, and now like how do those work? You know what I mean? Like, what's stopping, for example, like Viva Van just appeared on Rampage last night with against Sheeta. What's stopping WWE for IDing her? And then it's like, okay, if I'm Tony Khan, why do I want to put a spotlight on this person who potentially won't sign here? So it's good and it's bad, and like I said, it sounds good on paper, but we just have to see how it is like a year from now, right? We're gonna see how it actually worked out in anybody's favor.
If you like this video, consider joining our Patreon, the Post Wrestling Cafe. Multiple bonus podcasts every week, ad-free shows, and access to our full archive. Otherwise, a like and subscribe is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.